Here's something that most writers don't realize. The people reading hundreds of books a year notice things published authors miss. Meet Christina, one of our project managers and self-proclaimed bookworm. She accidentally read over 100 books this year. It just kind of happened. And the insights she discovered, they're going to completely change how you think about writing. Because here's the thing. Christina wasn't analyzing these books as a writer or editor. She was experiencing them as a pure reader. And readers notice completely different things than writers do. Today, I'm sharing the uncommon writing advice that comes from someone who's consumed more fiction in 1 year than most read in 5 or 10 years. These aren't the usual craft tips. They are the patterns that make readers obsessed or make them quit. So let me tell you how this started. Christina wasn't planning to become a reading machine. She reads enough for her job. She was scrolling Instagram, stumbled across a book review and thought, this sounds interesting. Saw it in Tesco the next day and bought it. And that was it. That was all it took. Then she bought a Kindle because she got tired of storing all the physical books she was collecting. And as she told me, that was the slippery slope. She said, I didn't have to wait to go to the shop anymore. I could just get the next book right away. And so now she doesn't watch TV. If she's waiting for the kettle to boil, she reads. Christina said, I love the feeling of being sucked into a world. And after 100 books, she's figured out exactly what creates that feeling and what destroys it. The first insight she had is that character names can ruin everything. Here's something most writing guides will never mention. Your character's name has to match their vibe. Christina read a book recently about a 20-year-old with long blonde hair, sassy personality and confident energy, but her name was Jill. She said, I just thought you don't suit the name Jill. And she said she could not get on board with it and it bugged her the whole time she was reading. The entire book was ruined by a name mismatch. And so really think about this for a second. You've crafted a complex character, written brilliant dialogue, built a compelling arc, but if the name doesn't fit the energy, readers can't connect. Here's what she means. A fierce, sassy 20-year-old blonde feels more like a Scarlett or Bex than a Jill. Jill feels like someone's aunt who makes excellent scones. Test your character's name. Do they match the energy that you're creating? Now here's where it gets really interesting, because the second insight Christina had is readers hate waffling, even in beloved books. And Christina actually mentioned something really controversial. She thinks J.K. Rowling started waffling in the later Harry Potter books. She said often she was reading those books and feeling like, look, just get to the point. You know, you want enough, but you don't want too much waffle because it ruins the momentum. As Christina said, there are some books that need to be the length they are, and there are some that really don't. The sweet spot is enough detail to immerse the reader, but not so much that it bogs them down. She specifically loves when authors drip feed information through action rather than exposition dumps. Now, here's the game-changing technique she described. This is the third insight, and it's called the drip feed opening. Most writing advice tells you to show, don't tell. Christina showed me exactly what that looks like from a reader's perspective. She hates openings like, my name is Christina, I'm 32, I live in London in a 3-bedroom house, right? Instead, she loves this approach. They've woken up late, tripped over their shoes because they haven't tidied their flat again. So you get a sense that they're messy. They can't catch the bus because there's no money in their purse. So maybe they're having money troubles. Or they throw their blonde hair up because they couldn't brush it. And so now you know they have blonde hair, right? You're building a picture through action, not description. The reader is discovering the character instead of being told about them. Christina calls it hitting the ground running. Now, this particular insight surprised me the most, and this was the fourth one. Chapter length matters more than you think. Some of the books Christina read have 30 to 45 minute chapters. The Kindle times them based on your reading speed, so of course she knows how long each chapter took to read. And Christina said, I don't really want or can't give that amount of time all of the time. So here's a solution for you as a writer. Long chapters are fine if there are visible formatting breaks. Scene breaks, white space, natural stopping points. Readers need permission to put the book down without losing their place. If you're writing 10,000 word chapters with no breaks, you're losing readers who can only read in 15-minute windows. Add scene breaks, give readers breathing room. Next is the insight that really blew my mind. This is the 5th insight, and it's how to make time jumps feel seamless. Christina described reading a book where several weeks passed within a single chapter, but it wasn't written as 3 weeks later. She said it was written incredibly well, so that she knew considerable time had passed, but it kept her going. This is the advanced technique most writing guides never address. How do you show time passing without breaking immersion? And you do this through subtle details. So it could be something along the lines of the leaves had turned and she'd continued avoiding his calls. We know there's been a change of season. By the time winter arrived, she'd stopped checking her phone altogether. The season changed, time passed, there's no awkward 3 months later required. And also, here's what readers actually want with point of view. So this is the 6th insight, where you have multiple POVs, but don't have too many. Christina says she loves dual POV, seeing both the male and female leads' perspectives in romance. She says she really loves to hear both points of view, but here's the key. She doesn't like it when every character gets a point of view, because she says mentally she just can't jump around that much. 2 perspectives, perfect. 5, completely exhausting. So give readers depth without giving them whiplash. Now here's what she's learned about really hooking readers. Christina sent me a list of books that shattered her heart, as she said, but she loved every second. And the pattern was interesting. They had morally grey characters with banter and emotional intensity. A good example was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. The last line, Christina said, was criminal. She said she wanted to call her and ask how she sleeps at night. Then there was Psychotic Obsession by Lee Rivers. She says she cried several times and just couldn't stop thinking about the book for weeks. These books had emotional intensity that lingered. That's what keeps readers coming back, not perfect prose. Emotional impact that changes your brain chemistry. So here's what this means for your writing. Stop obsessing over perfect character descriptions. Stop padding your word count to hit genre standards. Stop trying to show every character's perspective. Start focusing on what readers actually notice. Character names that match their energy, opening chapters that drip feed information through action, scene breaks that respect readers' time jumps that feel seamless, and dual POV that adds depth without confusion, and above all, emotional intensity that lingers. So your challenge is to pick one of these insights and apply it to your current manuscript. Test your character names, do they match the vibe? Rewrite your opening to drip feed info through action instead of description. Whichever one you choose, come back in the comments down below and tell me which insight you're applying. Because ultimately what Christina's reading marathon taught us is that readers aren't analyzing your craft choices. They're really asking, am I sucked into this world? And if the answer is yes, well then they will forgive many other discrepancies in your manuscript. But if you lose them in chapter 1 with a name that doesn't fit, well, that's game over. Your book deserves readers who get sucked into your world. Now you know exactly how to make that happen. Let me know what you are going to fix first. YouTube will also be recommending another one of my value-packed writing videos for you just here. So go ahead and watch this one up next.